And you know what? That stings. It stings. I know it stings. And people think, oh, Jocko, you go into a room, and if your boss was telling you to do something stupid, you just stand up and say, hell no, boss, I'm not doing it. Wrong. What was the next one?
We had a company where we had a regional manager kind of responsible for several different districts. So this regional manager's kind of seen, I think they own like the eastern portion of the United States or something along those lines, and had a bunch of different districts that kind of answered to this person. And one of those district managers is probably their best district manager, good to go, but bit of an ego. And this district manager sent an email to his boss telling him, hey, here's all the things we're doing wrong. Here's all the mistakes. Kind of just an aggressive email, and kind of articulate a little bit of frustration with how this regional manager was operating. So it was an effective email. Obviously, that didn't go.
Wait, that wasn't an effective email? You mean the regional manager didn't read it and go, gosh, thank you for this input. Thank you for coming at me like that. I really appreciate your transparency.
Yeah, that's not how it went over. And it's funny you said that, because I think inside the email there was a phrase, I'm just being transparent, or I'm just being honest, something like that, which was the caveat of, hey, I'm going to be a jerk, totally out of line, inappropriate, and nothing I'm going to say is going to resonate, but I'm going to say it anyway. So that's kind of how the email came across. And of course, the regional manager, amazingly, didn't appreciate that. Well, so an interesting thing happened. They talked about it, and this person that sent the email, this guy was like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. You're right. And realized that the way that he communicated wasn't effective, and straight up took ownership of it and said, hey, I shouldn't have done that. I let my emotions get the best of me. I apologize. And hey, that's not going to happen again. I'm going to do a much better job communicating. But that wasn't the issue. The issue is, in this case, that regional manager, that boss, took the apology of the subordinate as a win, as a victory. And so when this person took ownership and apologized and said, hey, I was out of line, the regional manager reinforced that by saying, yeah, you were. Something like, don't ever let that happen again. Don't ever talk to me like that. And left it as, I kind of won the argument. I put you back in your place, and there should be no confusion on your mind of how this thing works. And that was actually the real issue here, because that regional manager, this senior boss, was in a position to have an incredible win out of this bad situation. And what they did was actually undermine their relationship, because the other person was doing what we've been talking about, which was take ownership. And when they did that, they kind of got smacked in the face over doing that. And the amazing thing about it was that regional manager took a win and turned it into a loss and created more problems with that subordinate that had nothing had ever come out of it from the get-go.
Yeah, that's interesting. So usually it's the other way that I have to discuss this issue, which is when I say as the boss, hey, Dave, this was my fault. It shouldn't have gone this way. I made a couple bad calls. It's on me. And people say, yeah, but what happens when Dave says back to me, yeah, you're damn right, Jocko, it is your fault. And people don't know what to do. That catches them off guard. They don't know what to do. And I say, hey, Dave, this was my fault. I shouldn't have let this happen. You go, yeah, it was your fault. And now I think, wait a second. What happens? My ego flares up. And it seems uncomfortable because now you're blaming me, and when you blame me, I get defensive, and now I go on the attack. And I actually retract my ownership. So what I find interesting about this one is I'm the DM. I'm the subordinate, and I submit the apology. Hey, boss, I'm really sorry. I got emotional, and I wrote this aggressive email. I should have read it before I sent it. I want to build a good relationship with you. It's on me. I won't let it happen again. I'm sorry. And then the regional manager goes, yeah, it is your fault, and you better not do that again. And what happens to the subordinate? The subordinate goes, wait a second. Yeah. Wait, you're saying this is my fault? And the correct response actually is, yeah, boss, absolutely. As I just said, this is on me. It's my fault. But what happened is, so even though, yeah, the regional manager, the boss made a bad move, made a bad tactical move, didn't build a relationship, didn't move it forward. But the subordinate what he should do. That's I always this is one of the times where I consistently yell an answer. When I consistently yell an answer, which is when I say, hey, this is my fault, and you say, yes, it is, and I go, I know. That's exactly what I just said. It's the same thing. Hey, boss, I shouldn't have done this. It's my fault. Yeah, you're right. It is your fault. Yes, absolutely, boss. That's what I just said, and I definitely want to take ownership, and I need to think through things before I do it. Boom. Elevate the conversation. Move it forward. As opposed to letting your ego flare up a little bit. Look, this is what we're doing. How do you disarm the ego? You subordinate your own. Yeah. I can't forcibly subordinate your ego. I can't forcibly do it. And we have two big egos in the room. I can't forcibly subordinate you. I can try. And how can I try and do it? I can be offensive to you. I can put you down. I can pull rank on you. There's all these ways I can try and force the submission of your ego. None of them work. I mean, they might work temporarily. I could yell and scream at you and kick you out of my office. Cool. I won that minute battle. Yeah. And then you're bunkered even more into your position. You hate me now. Yeah. You went from like, hey, I'm pissed at the boss. Now I hate my boss. So it's not a win. When I forcibly try and submit your ego, I'm not going to make it happen properly. So what I can do is I subordinate my own ego. And you know what? That stings. It stings. I know it stings. And people think, oh, Jocko, you go into a room, and if your boss was telling you to do something stupid, you just stand up and say, hell no, boss, I'm not doing it. Wrong. I made a career out of subordinating my ego. Why? Not to kiss someone's ass, not to make them feel good, but so that I could do my job better, so my team could get the support we needed, so we could move forward, so I could develop that relation. So when I did need something from my boss, I could actually get it. That's what we're doing here. So when you feel that frustration, and you can hear it in someone's voice. Well, I don't know the words that they use. We don't have quotes in here, but when I hear he took it as a win and took it as if he was right. He was. Accept that, and use that as a starting point to begin to redevelop and rebuild that relationship. If you've got plan A, and it looks like plan A isn't going to work, and you don't know what plan B is, you're going to face some issues. That's why we contingency plan. Yeah.